Hey there and welcome, Ashley right here with some training for you Facebook newbies who are looking to get involved and get started with running Facebook ads. So whoever you are, whether you run a small business, whether you're wanting to try and delve into building your own consultancy, freelancing with Facebook ads, this could be a great starting point for you. So I do reiterate, this is going to be just newbie training. If you're new to Facebook ads, this will be perfect for you. So we're going to break down each element of Facebook ads and obviously go into a bit more depth in terms of how you can start to use it and utilize it to your advantage as well. So this is going to be probably quite a long bit of training, but I'll say the main things we've broken it down to is 4 different segments: why Facebook ads, getting started, the different levels, optimization and terminology. So you can obviously start to look into this. So you can obviously go through this video and obviously pick out little parts and little elements that you want to go and go through in more depth. But at the same time, I say if you go through all this training, you should be able to, after this training, start to have a better understanding of how Facebook ads work and how you can start to put it into practice for yourself, or like I say, for other people as well at the same time. So do take notes. Like I say, there's going to be a lot to go through with this, but yeah, realistically, you should be able to start doing Facebook ads. The main thing is, say, before I go into this, Facebook ads, you can learn from myself, you can learn from other people, you can get books get outdated very quickly, you can join different Facebook groups, YouTube videos, masterminds, etc. But the thing is, the information, I should say, gets old very quickly, and the only way you're going to be able to progress and move on quite quickly in this platform that's always changing pretty much on a day-to-day basis is just by testing, seeing the data and testing even more. That's the main thing that I give to anyone in terms of if they ask for advice when it comes to Facebook ads. You got to go and test. Like, yeah, I understand it's all good going for these training videos and obviously taking notes, but you got to obviously take action, which is the main thing, and start putting it into practice. Whether you're spending $1 a day, $5 a day, $500 a day, you got to just go and test and get that data, because at the end of the day, you got to be patient with this. You're not going to literally watch this video and we start running ads for, I don't know, $5,000 ads a day, because it's not going to work like that. You need to obviously start to figure out how it's going to work for you and go from there. This is just basically the starting point, and obviously there'll be more training obviously for myself or people as well that you can go through and get more understanding of Facebook ads. So that's just a little bit of a starting point for you here, and obviously we're going to break it down now more in terms of why Facebook ads and obviously getting started. This here, so most of the training as well, to let you guys know, it's going to be on the mind map. We're going to head over to Facebook as well and go through obviously little elements on there, so I can show you certain things on Facebook. Obviously the time I'm watching it is all up to date. Sorry, the time I'm recording this, everything's all up to date. But you may, if you're watching this a bit later on, like I say, Facebook's always changing. It may look a little bit different to you, but I'm going to try and keep this training updated as much as possible, so it's always up to date for you guys. So with that being said, why should you be using Facebook ads? Well, hopefully you know the reason for this, because you're actually watching this video today. So you figured out that Facebook is a platform you need to be a part of, whether you already started on Facebook or you've heard a lot of people talking about Facebook. You maybe joined a few groups, maybe a friend or someone you know owns a company and thinking about running Facebook ads, and you think you may be able to help with them. So the reason this is really good and really critical, it's a good time to get involved with Facebook. And just don't forget, Facebook and Instagram are linked together now because Facebook owns Instagram. So I will talk mainly about Facebook ads, but keep in mind that's talking about Instagram ads as well if you guys are not clued up on that. But yeah, Facebook ads and Instagram ads, because like personally for me, Facebook is currently the most effective digital marketing channel, period. Like, I know obviously people, they'll say there's other channels out there. Yes, obviously you've got Google AdWords, you've got people doing SEO, you've got other stuff like Pinterest, different like Twitter advertisement as well. But for me, Facebook ads is the place to be. The amount of people that are on Facebook is crazy. So you can be targeting all these people each and every day. No matter what your niche is, you can go after these people, because the platform is, I always say, it's a social platform. So whether your ads, you don't always be selling and trying to make the sale or make that get that lead straight away on Facebook, because you've got to take consideration Facebook is a platform for social, but at the same time it's probably the biggest digital marketing channel that you can go and advertise on and get your message in front of millions and millions of people, which is really, really good. Another great thing why I think Facebook is great is come down to targeting options. So like I say, just rewinding back again, Facebook is different. So if someone's searching on Google for a product, maybe, I don't know, they're looking for a mobile phone, for example, their intention is different to obviously someone on Facebook. So let me explain this a little bit more. So if I went onto Google and typed in mobile phones or buy mobile phones and I'm served with an ad, the ad's going to be relevant to me because I'm looking for that. With Facebook, the journey is going to be different because not necessarily that person is looking for what you have to offer. In some cases, yes, with retargeting, but if they're not looking for your offer and they're cold audience, you have to get them into whether it's a funnel or getting the mesh in front of them and obviously take them down a different journey to actually completing that purchase or completing that form of action you want them to take. So for me, I find that exciting in terms of targeting options because it lets you go big and broad. And I say we'll go into a bit more depth, but obviously you can start to go for cold interest in terms of, again, if we look at mobile phones, maybe you can target people who have who are fans of iPhones, for example, in the past, people with interest in iPhone, should say, different brands, again, like Apple, Samsung, Sony. You can go for people like that in terms of target options. So I really enjoy it in terms of being able to curve out that kind of funnel and that message to get in front of people and get the sale the same way. Because when you see sales come in, or like I say, people actually taking action on your ads, it's a great feeling to have. And the platform, people are aware that there's ads on Facebook, but at the same time, if you do your ads correctly in terms of structuring them right, you can get a lot of people responding to what you want them to do, which is really good. Again, come to creativity. Creativity is great because obviously you've got your different forms of, which again we're going to come to, different forms of creatives you can use, whether it's now you've got videos, you've got slideshows, you've got your normal images, you've even got stuff like Facebook Live, you've got different size images. It's all different things that you can do. Carousel ads, you can have, do you know what I mean? There's so many different ways that you can actually target people with creativity in terms of your images, your videos, the length of them. There's so much you can actually start to put into this with the creatives. And obviously you've got to remember as well your copy as well. So your copy, the language you speak into people, whether it's short form, whether it's long form. This all might sound all a bit confusing to you right now, but trust me, it will all make a lot more sense later on down the line. But there's so much options you can do in terms of creativity, which again, when we go over to Facebook, we're going to break down a little bit more as well and show you more about that. Optimization is great. Like I was saying before, if you are testing stuff, you can test, and at the same time you can optimize it really well. So if you know you're spending $10 a day and it's working really well, you can start to scale that ad and start to obviously put more budget behind it, slowly but surely, or you can start to target other people as well because you know them creators are working. If they're not working, you can go and create so you can change them creatives and optimize again for that as well. You can also optimize for different conversions. So if you're hoping for people to purchase a product or something along the lines of that, you can optimize your ads towards going for that call to action being the purchase, which I think is really, really good. And I think I've just mentioned something here as well. Yeah, so the great thing is it works for numerous objectives, okay? Numerous objectives. There's so many different objectives you can go for in this day and age, different niches. So whether you're a dentist, whether you're a restaurant owner, whether you want to get if you're a life coach, you want to get your message out there, whether you sell e-commerce products, whether you're doing drop shipping. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different ways you can get in front of these people. No matter what niche you're in, there is an audience out there on Facebook ready for you. And again, whether you're B2B or B2C, there's other ways as well. Just being thinking outside the box and obviously start to be able to target different people, different audiences and different interests, so you can actually get your message across to these people. So that kind of breaks down some of the reasons why Facebook, as I say, there's many different reasons out there, and your reasons may be different as well in terms of why you decide to choose Facebook ads. Again, because other options is because of the way you can spend money on there, in terms of you can spend a small budget, you can spend a big budget, you can test small, you can, do you know what I mean? You can scale quickly as well at the same time, which is another thing in terms of Facebook ads, which they're putting there. But there's so many different ways of going about this, which makes it really, really useful. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to show you, in fact, we're going to go later on, we're going to come back to the creativity and optimization. We're going to go through and talk about getting started. So getting started with Facebook ads, let's just close that down there. So before you get started with Facebook ads, you've got two different ways where you can run your ads. You have what's called the ad manager and you have the power editor. So two different options where you can run ads. Both work perfectly well. It just depends on preference and also depends on these few things here as well. So if you are just beginning, then, or a small budget advertiser, Ad Manager is right for you. It's a good tool, it works. And at the same time now as well, the Ad Manager is getting a lot better. And if you were a marketer back in like years ago, like where it was 3-4 years ago, even as short back distance as that, you would notice a big difference between the Power Editor and Ad Manager, whereas now they're combining and coming a lot more close together in terms of the look and feel of it, the what you can do on both of them as well. They're kind of coming a lot more similar than obviously years ago. But with that being said, the Power Editor is Facebook's advanced, it's still more advanced ad management tool. So it's more, if you want to be doing stuff a lot more, it's for more larger scale advertising. So if, like I say, you want to be doing multiple duplications, a lot of edits, it's more quicker in terms of how you can start to do a lot more stuff. I use Power Editor. Funny enough, I've always used Power Editor. It's just always been my go-to tool. When people try and show me stuff in Ad Manager, it's a bit of a blur to me in terms of how to run ads in Ad Manager, because I've always known Power Editor, and that's always been my kind of my choice of call, I should say, to go for. Realistically, I'd say Ad Manager is always good to start with. It's like driving a car, do you know what I mean? You would drive manual first and then you can start automatic. Ad Manager, you start Ad Manager and then move on to Power Editor when you get a little bit better. It makes perfect sense. So like I say, so Ad Manager is great for your day-to-day optimization. So when it comes to reporting and obviously making quick edits or turning off campaigns or putting budgets up on ad campaigns, Ad Manager is perfect for that, and I do most of my stuff in terms of that. I go more towards Power Editor when I'm actually creating ads, duplicating ads, wanting to do a lot of stuff at the same time in terms of multiple edits at once. I go for Power Editor. You can do that with Ads Manager, but for me, it's just not as straightforward as Power Editor. Like I say, you can change bids on both of them. You can change your budgets on both of them, pause ads on both. But like I say, Ad Manager is just more for quick actions. Power Editor is more in depth, and let's say you can do a lot more with that as well. So you got your Ad Manager, you got your Power Editor, both different areas on there. So you can view both of these on your when you're on your Ads Manager. You have two options for there: Ad Manager and Power Editor. So when it gets a bit more in depth and a bit more interesting is Business Manager. So Business Manager, it's not mandatory, which it says there, but I highly recommend it because you have a lot of different assets which you can actually access. You can access your page for your Business Manager, your pixel, your ad accounts, different your Facebook mine's got your audiences, sorry, my mind went blank there. Audiences, your Facebook analytics, your assets, everything all under one place. It makes it a lot more easy to manage everything in Business Manager. So I do recommend start with Ad Manager if you're just getting started, test Ad Manager, but later on down the line you are going to run this change over to Business Manager. And especially if you are, for example, like a small business, or you're thinking later on down the line you want someone to run your ads for you, if you've got Business Manager, you can obviously give access to another agency to start running your ads for you, or at the same time as well with your Business Manager you can add other people into your Business Manager. So if you wanted to add advertisers or people who work within your business and your industry, you can obviously add them into the Business Manager of the company or yourself, and they can obviously run different assets of the actual Business Manager as well, which is really good. So there's the two things there, and then this is the next main thing that you got to realize when you're getting started: Facebook Pixel. There's a lot of training out there on Facebook Pixel, and it's something that you could spend a lot of time looking into. But in terms of Facebook Pixel, so break it down a little bit here for you. So the Pixel, in a nutshell, I don't want to overcomplicate this too much because it's not worth it. But the Pixel is just a little piece of code that is installed on your website or on your landing page, whatever you have, and literally takes a few minutes to install. No matter what you're on, it's quite straightforward. Whether you're on WordPress, I'd say there's obviously an app called a plugin called Pixel Your Site and Pixel Your Site Pro, which is the professional version of that. If you're on Shopify, you're doing e-commerce stuff, then there is the option of literally Shopify. You just type in your Pixel ID and it will literally put all the different events on each page of the Shopify store. Very great, easy, makes sense. Okay. Other avenues you have to look into a bit more depth, but like I say, WordPress straightforward, Shopify straightforward. They're the main ones you need to go for. If not, you do have the code. If you want to hire someone to put the code in for you, or you can put the code in yourself, you can put the Pixel on any page, any web page that you actually own, and you start to track conversions on that there. A lot of people get confused because they think, I'll give you an example, that the Pixel can be put on other websites. The Pixel can only be put on a website you own. So for example, say for example you are a travel agent or something, or travel company, you wouldn't be able to go and put that Pixel on, for example, TripAdvisor or on bookings.com to see how many people are coming to their website. You would not have the control of that. You can only put it on your actual website. So I hope that makes sense. So yes, so integrate the Pixel is absolute must for Facebook advertisers. And the reason this is because It allows you to obviously create and track conversions on Facebook. If you haven't got this and you can't track, you can't see anything happening in your dashboard. And we have this a lot. We speak with a lot of clients that we get on board, and some people are running ads, are spending thousands of pounds each and every day, and they haven't got the pixel in place. So they don't exactly know where the sales are coming from, which ads are working, and yeah, it becomes a whole different story, which we don't want to go into too much depth. But you have to have that pixel in place because it allows you to track what's actually going on with your ads. So it's a no-brainer really. And at the same time with this, it obviously allows you to harness the power of the Facebook algorithm, because this will allow you, once you've got the pixel in place, it allows you to optimize your campaign, so you can obviously then start to get more conversions at cheaper cost. And it allows the algorithm to find, okay, if this person's purchased, let's find other people who are purchasing as well and drive them to the website, which is really good. And again, later on down the line, if you want to start to create what's called a lookalike audience, you can use this because you've got your pixel in place, and it'll work really, really well. So to break down a little what a lookalike audience is, a lookalike audience is when you've got a group of people. So say you have 100 people that purchased on your website, you can then tell Facebook to go and find a lookalike of that pool of people, the 100 people who are similar, and their base Facebook will find them people, and you can start driving traffic to that audience to your same ad, if that, hope that makes sense in the best way possible. But yeah, so that's it. The algorithm is just very, very efficient, and it'll do great wonders to your results if done correctly. So yeah, that's just touched there a little bit in terms of creating new audiences. With the pixel in place, it allows you to tag people who have visited your website, so you can obviously retarget them with different ads. And yeah, you can do so much more with the pixel in place. So I don't know what I put here, but yeah, installing the pixel, very straightforward. You just need to literally get the code. In fact, what we'll do now, I'll go over to the over to Facebook and show you what the pixel looks like in terms of how you can go and take that code and put it onto a website. So let's do that now. So I'm just over on Facebook. I'm currently in Business Manager here, but you can find this literally on your Ad Manager as well. And this talks about installing your pixel code. So step one, choose how you want to install your pixel. So you can obviously integrate it with Tag Manager, which is really good. If you use Google Tag Manager, you can do it that way, or you can just copy and paste the code. Like I said, if you are using plugins or apps on different platforms, different CMSs, you literally can just take your Pixel ID code and you can then pop that into the relevant plugin, or like I say, relevant website as well. But how it would look is if you copy and paste in code, this is how it looks here. So locate the head of your code, and then obviously here's the code here. You literally just copy and paste that information, and then you go next. And it gives you all the information in terms of installing the events, copy event codes, and here you got other stuff here. This is obviously you're doing it manually. You can start to pick out the different values of each one, whichever ones you need, and paste the event codes. You've got that there for the event codes on specific pages where you want the events to occur on, and then obviously next, and then you can obviously then check. So what you have, you're on the dashboard. You got your pixel dashboard, so it'll show you how many different pixel. How much your pixel is firing, I should say, and it will give you an idea in terms of what page people are viewing and where it is actually firing. So yeah, it's really good, and obviously you can email them instructions to your developer or someone who can do this for you, whether it's on somewhere like Upwork or somewhere you hire someone on people per hour. Yeah, you can do that. It's quite straightforward to do. I say I don't want to go into too much information in terms of confusing you what the pixel does. In all fairness, it doesn't bother me how the pixel actually works. I just know it needs to be on my website. I need to track. If it's tracking and it's working, that's all you need to do. If you want to learn the ins and outs of it, you can do that, but it's not going to really benefit you that much in all fairness. So that's how you install the Facebook Pixel. It makes a bit more sense. And like I say, if you want to, there are apps like say Pixel Your Site Pro for WordPress is a really good one to use as well. This is where it gets more interesting. We're going to talk about the levels of where you actually go to start to create your adverts via Facebook. So the levels, let's just break this down and then I can show you to make it a bit more sense. So how it looks is like this. So you've got three different types of what I call levels. So you've got your campaign level, you have your ad set level, and you have your ad level. They're the three ad levels that you don't need to remember, but they're the three levels that you have. And with that being said, so in terms of your campaign level, this is where you define your objective. So we're going to go for objectives shortly in a second, but your objective is basically the goal of your campaign and what you are actually trying to achieve from your actual campaign. So that's campaign level, and we're going to go into that a bit shorter on. We're going to go into all this. In fact, I'm just going to break this all down for you first. And then you got your ad set level. So your ad set level is where you look into your targeting, your budget, your bidding, and your placement. So again, I've just broken these down here. So you're targeting your custom audiences, your lookalike, interest, connections, your budget, what you're going to spend, your bidding, whether it's auto or manual bidding. And you got your placement, so where the actual ad is going to be shown. You can have what's called automatic, which will show on all different placements, or you can actually edit it down in terms of desktop newsfeed, right feed, mobile newsfeed, instant articles now as well, Instagram, and you've got something called mobile audience network. And then obviously from this onwards here, we'll break this down. You've got your ad level. So your ad level is where your message is actually put together. So you got your copy, your actual text, your call to action, depending on again what your objective is, and your creative, wherever again, your creative, you've got the option of video ads, static images, slideshow ads, carousel ads, canvas ads, and messenger ads. So I just want to break that down first of all. Now we're going to go back over to Facebook and show you exactly what all this kind of means on the Facebook platform. Okay, so for the purpose of this recording, I'm over on Power Editor, just in case you may look different to you if you're looking at this on Ad Manager. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you exactly how you go about creating an ad and obviously go through the levels which we spoke about, which obviously the campaign level, ad set level, and the ad level. So first of all, we are currently about to create, so we are on the campaign level. So we're just going to call this campaign level test 101. I don't know, that's probably good. So in terms of campaign objectives, you have three different three areas of what you want to focus on. Well, the three main areas, which are awareness, consideration, and conversion. So depending on obviously what campaign you're running, what your objectives are, depends on which campaign objective you want to run. So in terms of awareness, it's kind of straightforward in terms of if you want to get your brand out there, in terms of say if you've got a video you put together and you want to reach as many people as possible and actually just build awareness. So no actual call to action really, but say for example if you've got a video advert you've put out there, you want to get in front of people, that'll be something you can build a brand awareness on, which is really good. And you've got also reach, which is an awareness. This will literally just go and find as many people as possible. Once you set this up, it's pretty much just go. You set a start time, a start day, and end day, and literally it will just go and just fire and find as many people, obviously depending on your targeting, as much as possible and get your message out there. So if you want to build awareness, and like I say, you don't really, it's mainly about, again, say building a brand, building, and it's more like, I like to say this area is kind of like a TV ad, because you want to get in front of people, but you're not really wanting them to actually make an action in terms of like a purchase or view the website. You just want to kind of get in front of them, and obviously if you do start to then funnel down, you then obviously get them to watch the video, and then you can obviously get them into the selling mentality. Because you remember I said previously earlier on in the video that if you are on Facebook, you are not necessarily in the buying mentality. If you're on Google, you're looking for something, Facebook is different. I think the awareness objective is really good, because you can start to just build that rapport with the a person who basically is cold. So this cold audience, you can actually get in front of them and start to warm them up. So then you can obviously then get them into the consideration, obviously the main thing, which being the conversion and getting them to buy from you. So that's a little bit about awareness. And in terms of consideration, quite straightforward. Again, you've got your traffic, which is mainly for just driving traffic to your website. I'm going to tell you, I never use traffic. I always use conversions, even if I'm trying to get traffic. And it's probably a bit too complicated to explain in this video here, but traffic will literally just drive clicks and cheap clicks to your website, whereas you can do that kind of via conversion, which I'll probably show you in fact when we do go to the ad set. I don't want to go too advanced for you because it is quite a bit more complicated, but if you're just starting off and you want to get traffic, people to your actual website, you can actually drive traffic. App installs, as it says, if you want to get people to install your app on their device, quite easy, quite straightforward. Video views, again, if you want to get people in front of your video, start watching it, and you've probably seen a lot of screenshots, videos, people showing that video views are very, very cheap. Correct, they actually are very cheap. So you can obviously start to, again, it's similar to the brand awareness. You can obviously start to get a lot of people viewing your content, your video quite cheaply and effectively, and then again, funnel them later on down the line, retarget them and get them to actually start to make a conversion. Lead generation is relevantly new. It's improved a lot recently. What lead generation is, it basically keeps the prospect or the person who actually sees your lead form within Facebook. So the normal way, or the route most people go down, is they have an advert, and then it goes to a different page off Facebook, where it's ClickFunnels, WordPress, to your website, and then you get the lead from there. Facebook has made it a lot more easy and a lot more straightforward in terms of actually putting an ad in front of someone. They click the call to action, learn more, for example, sign up, and they'll still remain on Facebook. And the great thing is, because Facebook has your details, it would already populate some information, either email address, your name, mobile number, for example. So it's really good if you want to be trying to drive and get leads. It works really, really well. Next one, you got post engagement. So this is here, as it says, these are very well self-explanatory. That's how I want to break it down for you. It's basically trying to get as much engagement as possible. So engagement is classed as not just people liking or commenting, it's everything. So in terms of commenting, reactions, in terms of video views can come in there if it is a video, people actually clicking anywhere on the actual ad itself. These all classes as post engagement because they are engaging with the overall post. So that's really good in terms of, say, you want to build social proof. It works really well. And again, you can obviously change the advert into a conversion ad later on down the line. So that makes it a lot better to actually start to get people to convert because they're seeing the social proof on the actual ad itself, which is good. Your next one is page likes. Again, quite straightforward. If you want to build your likes upon your page, run page likes. Very easy. You put an image together and then you literally just a bit of copy. I think it's 90 characters you can put in terms of copy, and literally Facebook will just go and find the people who are going to like your page for you. As simple as that. Event response. If you're doing events, you can obviously run ads to that as well. Okay, very self-explanatory. So that's one consideration. Conversions. This is where you're going to be going for more sales. So whether you're wanting people to sign up for your webinar, where you want people to purchase your product, this is the kind of area where you're going to be going for the sales. So I'm going to start backwards on this one because it'll make a bit more sense. Because store visits, this is only if you do have a store. So maybe you have a restaurant or you have an actual store that sells physical products rather than just being online. You can obviously run an ad with store visits, and you can obviously give people coupons that they can recoup before coming in as well. And it's a really good objective if you do have a store. If not, you don't need to worry about it. Product catalog sales. This is mainly for like e-commerce stores. It also works for like hotels as well. If you want to retarget people with products they've already seen previously, or at the same time a hotel they've seen, in terms of, I think you can do flights as well now and that. So it's getting very, very good in terms of the product catalog sales there. So you can do a lot with that. And the main one, my favorite, and pretty much probably most people's favorite, is conversion. So this is where Facebook is going to drive traffic, high traffic, in terms of people who are going to convert, the most likely to convert for you. So that is conversions there. So that's all this section here. So what we're going to do, just to kind of break it down so I can show you exactly how it works. Let's just go to pick conversions and keep that like that. I'm going to copy that into the ad name. When it comes to naming as well, in fact, I should have done this properly. Campaign name, you want to obviously keep that because that's going to be the level you're going to see. Ad set name, this is just how I do it. A lot of people do it differently. In my ad set name, I normally do it in terms of who I'm targeted. So let's just say we were targeting, I don't know, females. Let's just say 18 to 35, UK. And if it was like a lookalike audience, I'll say lookalike audience of purchasers, for example. That's how I'd kind of go for that there. And then in terms of the ad name, I normally choose the same ad set name in there as well. So let's go to create. So hit create there. And then what will happen is, okay, so yeah, the campaign is created. So now it will allow us to go into the ad set level. So this is the ad set. So you can see here, we've got the actual ad set. So what we want to do is hit the edit button on that side there. He says, okay, so now this is going to allow us to create our ad. So unfortunately, I haven't got a conversion setup event here, but what you would have if you have set up your pixel correctly, it will allow you to then pick your conversion. It's just a test one here, but let's just say we want people to view content. Let's just click on that there. So view content. So I'm basically optimizing for people to view my website. So let's just stick with something for a niche. Let's stick to let's just stick with let's talk about watches. So for example, say if I'm e-commerce, I want people to view my watch. This is what I want, basically view content. I want to get as many people to my product page as possible. So I'm going to optimize for view content. Obviously, the main one you want to go for, if it is e-commerce, is purchase. And I say it's a lot more in depth that you can go for, whether it's you're running for leads in terms of your Your conversion, sorry, is lead. So when people land on your page and convert on the actual thank you page, that will obviously be a lead conversion. So there's different ways of doing it. I say I don't want to complicate it too much. I just want to get you guys started and set up so you can start running ads as soon as possible. So don't overcomplicate it too much. Just pick the most relevant one to you. If you're going for purchases, go for purchases. If you haven't got enough purchases on your website, then always go one above, I should say. So if you haven't got enough purchases, go to add to cart. If you haven't got enough add to cart, you go to view content. And same if you're wanting to get people to your webinar. If you're not getting enough people to sign up to your webinar, you go back one step to maybe view content. Okay, so I don't want to complicate it too much. So right now, without picking anything, we've got 42,000 potential reach. So what I'm going to do here is scroll down. So this section here is your budget and scheduling. So quite self-explanatory. You've got your daily budget and you also got your lifetime budget. And what you do here, if you want to select lifetime budget, which some people do, and I see a great reason for it, lifetime budget allows you to do ad scheduling. So what ad scheduling means is, if I click on this here, you can actually run your ads on a certain schedule. So if you, this is where again it gets a bit more complicated, and I don't want to go too much to complicate you too much, but say if you were checking your Google Analytics and you knew people were converting at a certain time on a certain day, you could then come in here and say, okay, I know people are converting, it's a bit blunt out there, I think it's Monday, is it Sunday, Monday, whatever this day is here, and you can obviously say, I just want the ads to run on this time here, on that day, and then this time here on that day. So Facebook will only show your ads at certain times there. You can only do that on lifetime budget, okay? You can't do that on daily budget. So just heads up for you. The only thing with this is here, if you do want to start increasing your budget, you have to do a bit more calculations, but it's quite self-explanatory. Whereas your daily budget, it doesn't give you the ad scheduling option. But again, you can obviously just you can put your budget up to whatever. So you can start as low as $5, $10, $15 and start to work up from there. In terms of scheduling your start date, I always say, for example, I'm recording this video now, it's 2:52 UK time. I never run ads middle of the day. I try and get this close to the morning as possible. So if I was to create this ad now, I'd probably set this up for tomorrow to start running from midnight tomorrow, for example. So, because then what that allows you to do is you're going to get the full optimization for that full day. If not, you can still do it halfway through the day. Facebook won't spend your full allowance, but I just always, rule of thumb, just like to start the ad at the start of the day, so I know I'm going to get the most out of the ad. Because sometimes what happens is Facebook tries to spend a lot more money in that space of time, and obviously it's not optimizing correctly in terms of your results you want to get. So that's your scheduled start date. If you want, you can obviously add an end date to it. So if you're on a certain budget or you want to get certain results a certain amount of time, you can add your time there where you want it to end, or if not, you can just hit don't schedule, and that will then not schedule the ad at all, and it will just continue to run until you actually stop it yourself manually. So that's quite straightforward there. So that's all in terms of budget and scheduling. If we scroll down here, you got your audiences. So what you've got here is different audiences you can create. So this is where your lookalike audiences go into if you create them, and your custom audiences, saved audiences. So say if you've got a list of subscribers you've imported from MailChimp, you can put these in here and target them. And obviously again, you can create lookalike audience from that list there, and they would appear in there. You can obviously exclude people as well. So if you want to exclude different lists that you've already created, where it's a lookalike, for example, I think I've got some ones here. So if there's a lookalike audience there, let's do this, I'll show you. So say I don't know what this video is here, but say we've got this video here, engagement. There's not enough people on that. If I just pick the big one, I think there's a lookalike one there. Okay, so it's lookalike audience here. I think it's 50% video that I created. It's US. Okay, that makes sense. Let's just change this a second. United States. So the reason why that was not securing any reach, because this lookalike is created just for the US. So that's the reason for that. So that's that there. So now it's just giving you a reach of 2.1 million. And what you can do as well, you can exclude people. So if I want to exclude people who were in a different list, maybe I haven't got enough lists in here, but I can put people in there to exclude, some ad will not show to them. So that's that there in terms of custom audiences. You can obviously create and save audience here as well, which is really good. And that's quite straightforward. Or create a new audience there. Custom audience look like directly through the actual ad sets area. So right now, scrolling down, so as you just saw briefly there, I just changed the location to United States. You can put different locations in here. You can exclude locations as well at the same time. So if I wanted to exclude maybe Canada because it's something to do with shipping or something, I can put Canada in there and exclude Canada. Or I just want to exclude cities, for example. I could type in Los Angeles, so I'm still targeting United States, but I want to exclude Los Angeles, for example, there. And obviously it brings down to, takes off 100,000 people who I'll exclude from that there. Great thing, what you got to realize, well, you've got options here, which a lot of people do forget in terms of location. So people who live in this location, you also got everyone in this location. So people who live there or maybe visited that area. So say, for example, you were running your store and you didn't want to get people who were just visiting or traveling. You'd obviously go for people who live in this location, or maybe you run an event in a certain place that you just want people from a certain area. Again, you do people who live in this location. You can do people who travel in this location. And I'm seeing what it drops down, 63,000 people. So there's all these different ranges here which you can go for. Again, it depends obviously on your objective and what you're trying to get from your campaign. So that's locations there. You've got also ages here, so you can change your age, 18 all the way down to that there. You can go below 18. Obviously, in terms of if you're selling something, you want to go above 18. Gender, all men and women. Languages, so you can put in different languages here. So for example, if it's English, you've got English or UK. So I want to go English there, and obviously you can put other languages in. So for example, German. Put that there as well. So you can see it's starting to drop down the numbers from that. So that's languages. And then down here, this is where you can start to get targeting in terms of actual your interest. So let's just get rid of these here because this is going to mess up the data a little bit. Let's just get rid of that and that there. And we'll get rid of these lookalike audiences. So now we should hopefully be back to 3.7. That's because it's excluding that there. Everyone in this location. So there we go, 224 million people we can target. So let's just say I was going for, I've just created a new watch in my e-commerce store, and I want to target people who are liking watches. So let's just say, for example, what you can do in here is you can type in different interests. So I'm typing in a different watch brand here, Daniel Wellington, which is a watch brand. So what I can do is I can now target these different brands here, clues, capture, and this will now give me interest. So I can target these people here, and this is now allowing me, it's still saying potential reach that there because it's expand interest button is on. Let's just untick that, and it brings out 3.2 million. So these are the interests here. In terms of interests, and this is something you want to know, don't bundle interests all into the same ad set. And the reason for this is if you do this, you are not going to know which actual interest is going to be converting for your ads. So say if I've got all these 4 in here and I made 5 sales. Yes, great, I made 5 sales, but which one of these interests actually working? Because for all I know, the Daniel Wellington interest could have brought the 5 sales in, and these 3 here brought in 0. So I'm still showing my ads to these 3 interests, but I could take these out and obviously focus and spend more of my money actually going for the actual interest, which is actually converting. So always, if you're going to create or want to go for different interests, go and create different ad sets for that. The rule of thumb normally in terms of interest is normally if you can get to 500,000, that's a good number to start with. I say again, it depends on your objective, but always the bigger the number, the better really. And it's like I said, you've got this option here as well where you can expand interest, which will mean Facebook will try and reach more people. I don't really use this too much because it does kind of mess with the data, but if you've got a big budget and you want it just to go and find as many people as possible, then obviously you can go and expand that. Another great thing you can do as well here, so maybe we're still going for MVMT watchers, and then what you can do is you can also narrow down or exclude people. So if we wanted to narrow down the audience even more, we can say people who like MVMT and people who also like Daniel Wellington, if it's going to come back up. Daniel Wellington. So now we know that 20,000 people are liking both of these interests here. If you put Daniel Wellington into this one here, it's just going to basically go and target people who like MVMT or Daniel Wellington. Whereas now we've now narrowed it down further into MVMT people who like MVMT and people who also like Daniel Wellington. So that's now narrowed it down even further. You can narrow down even more than that, or you can exclude people. So again, if I want to exclude maybe, I think was it Clues that came up, was it a watch brand? Was it US? Yeah, Clues watches there. If I wanted to exclude them from that. So not many people do like both of them and exclude that. But yeah, you can obviously exclude different people in there as well. So that's the targeting area there. And then what you've got further down, you've got your connections. So if you want to, you can add different connections here. So you can add people who like your page, friends of people who like your page, or exclude people who like your page, which is useful. Apps, again, people who use your apps, and friends of people who use your app or exclude people. And events, again, people who respond to your event or not. You also got advanced combinations, which you can do a mixture of all, which is really clever as well. Again, you don't need to get into too much depth of that, but it's obviously an option there for you. And same once you created all this, you can save the audience so you can use it again and again in different ads, which is always good to do. Or you can always just duplicate the ad set and then obviously go again with it. But you save the audience, it's always there ready for you to go and put into different ads. So we're just going to scroll down here. I don't want to go too much depth here because the reason this is coming up is because we're on a conversion ad, but I'll probably create another video in terms of breaking down the objectives a little bit more individually so you can get a bit more understanding of it. But for example here, recommended is always the one you should go for just beginning wise. There's obviously more you can go into in terms of impression and link clicks if you're going to get a bit more advanced, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. And you got your conversion window here. So it's basically select, so you can read it here, for example. So you select time. It typically takes someone to actually complete a valuable action. So if it was a conversion and it's a time, so you can obviously get 7 days click, 1 day click or view, 7 days click or view as well, or 1 day. And you got your bid amount. So again, you got your automatic option, you got your manual option. Two different options here. Always stick automatic to begin with. Manual is for more advanced marketing, so I won't go into too much depth on that there. But automatic, as it says, it will let Facebook set the bid that helps you get the most sorts at the best price. Manual bidding is something that does get a little bit more confusing if you're just getting started, so I wouldn't worry about this too much. It's a little bit more advanced when it comes to Facebook ads. And obviously here it shows you when you get charged for impressions, and delivery time, always leave on standard. You do have what's called accelerated, which means it will basically just burn through your money as quick as possible. So that's the ad set section there, which is quite useful, and there's so much you can do with this in terms of actually creating. And in fact, I've actually missed out a stage, guys, so I'm just going to scroll back to the top. I apologize for this. We've got our placement stage because it was already set on automatic. So you got automatic, which will show on all different placements, or you can hit edit placements, and you got, for example, all devices, mobile only or desktop only. And the options you got in here are Instagram, so you can show an Instagram feed. You got Instagram stories as well now, but it has to be eligible for that. Audience network, messenger as well. So you've got all these different options here for your platforms. So that is your actual ad set level. And then now we go into the ads. So once you click on ads, it pops up like this. So what you've got here is it shows the ad name. Obviously, if I'm scrolling down, you can select your Facebook page. So as you can see here, it's currently on my Facebook page here. If you've got other Facebook page in your business manager, whether you're managing for other people or is another page you want to advertise on, you can drop that down. You've also got Instagram. So if you selected Instagram as a placement, this will be here where you will obviously select it. And if not, you can obviously use selected Facebook page. And obviously it will just have your name of your Facebook page, but obviously no one will be able to click through to that on the advert to actually go to your Instagram page because it'll be not clickable. So as you can see here, I've already got, this is how the ad will be displayed. Same required field is missing, so the link's not there at the moment, but in your previews, you've got mobile view, you can go into desktop view, how it will look. Desktop right column, missed out there, instant articles, which is nice and new. Instagram feed, that breaks it down there as well. So you've got all them options there in terms of how it will look. So when we scroll down here, we've got create ad. So you can create ad with image or video. You can create with ad with multiple images, which is the carousel. So if we clicked on that there, it'll bring up a carousel if it loads up. Let's go into desktop feed, it'll look a little bit better. So that'll be how it will be there. And then you've got your different image which you can put in there, and you've also got collection now as well. Collection is mainly for e-commerce stores, well pretty much is for e-commerce stores, and it can only be viewed on mobile. So when you're selecting your placements, you'd have to select it as mobile. So let's just go back to this one here. Obviously you've got your images, you've got your video slideshow, and you've also got your canvas as well. So these are the types of creators you can actually create. So as you can see here so far, we're going to play with this one here. So we've got our image here. And then what you will require is your website URL where people will be led to. You've got other options here as well in terms of messenger text, something's called JSON, so JavaScript. Display link optional, so this is basically what appears here. So I change this to click here. I don't like to do this anymore, but that will just change that so I can show you what it looks like. It's not going to show me in fact, but let's just say we change that to This is mysite.com. So I'll change that right there to what I've displayed in there. Then you got your text area, which is going to change here. So let's just say this is a test advert. We put in there. So that's going to go in there. Sorry, that's the text. And there's news feed section. Should say here. So let's go for the headline. Ad for testing purpose. We'll go in there, and then the news feed, which is the one below. Check out this cool program. So you can see here it's changed all these different sections. Then you've also got your call to action, which can be download now, contact us, no button. Let's just say you want to go for, I don't know, shop C menu. Don't know why I select C menu, but we'll go for that one there. And there you see, so you can see exactly how your ad will look once it's created for all the different sections there. So it looks on Instagram, which is always good to see. And obviously you can later on down the line, you can break your different placements down, different ad sets. So you can obviously use different text, different copy as well. It's obviously just an idea, so it shows you how you actually do that. And then you scroll further down. And this, I won't really worry too much about this. This basically just says, tag another business into, click off that, tag another business if you're basically using their information in terms of branded content. And then further down here is where you have your tracking information. So if you're using something along the lines of like Google UTM, you can obviously put your long URL in there in terms of to track it. And obviously the main thing as well, pixel tracking. A lot of people forget to tick this because it's weird how it isn't automatically ticked, but you have to tick that to track your conversion on your Facebook pixel. I won't tick that now because it will reveal what my pixel is. But yeah, you can tick that there, and I'll also make sure everything is tracking. So when people actually click on these button here, it actually is tracked, and obviously it'll pick up the conversions for it. Keep in mind, this is obviously what a conversion ad looks like. If you go for a PPE ad just from the original setup, you will not have this section here. It will look totally different, but that just gives you an idea in terms of how the actual platform looks in terms of creating an ad and how straightforward it is. So you can go and start creating ads and, like I say, start testing with a budget of whether it's $5 a day just to get you going and get you started with running some Facebook ads. Okay, so what we're going to finish off with is optimization and terminology. And I do apologize, I could have put so many different optimizations here, but I wanted to keep it nice and simple. I could have put stuff in like CTR, could put stuff in terms of like conversion or tracking, all that kind of stuff. But I've kind of gone for, I said, this is very newbie friendly, the basic optimization, well, terminology, what people should be looking for and paying attention to when it comes to their Facebook ads. So the four I've gone for are reach, impressions, frequency, and relevancy score. Like I said, there's a lot of different ones which depend on what your objectives are, which again will probably come in a later video, which is a little bit more further on down the line. But as long as you know what these mean, it will help you to obviously then get an understanding of the other metrics that you need to be looking at as well at the same time. So first of all, I'm just going to break it down. So what reach is basically the number of unique people who actually saw your content. So in this case, probably your ad. So what that means is it affects all your different metrics that you can track. So it will affect everything from your likes, your engagement, your comments, your clicks, everything as a whole. So that's what reach does, because people mix reach and impressions up. Impressions, on the other hand, is the number of times your ad is actually displayed. So if someone sees your ad twice, that counts as 2 impressions. Okay, so a lot of people get reach and impressions mixed up. So that's the reason why I want to explain what they both mean. Frequency, on the other hand, again, is how many times per person actually sees your ad. So if your frequency is 2, that means each person seeing your ad twice. Okay, individually seen it twice. And then you've got relevancy score, which comes under basically 1 to 10 in terms of relevancy score. So 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Again, this is the metric that you don't really need to take into too much consideration, but the higher relevancy score, the better in terms of you're cheaper. You pay less for ads in a nutshell, less for clicks, CPMs lower, and all that good stuff. So to get high relevancy score, like I mentioned to you guys, Facebook is a social platform. It's not for people to be purchasing and actually buying from you, sign up and stuff. You want to make it as social as possible. It'll help improve your relevancy score, and it will help you get better results with your ads. So I just want to add this little section in here so you guys get a kind of an understanding of what they actually mean and how you can actually look at them. And at the same time, you start to put them into action to depending again, as I keep saying, what your objective is, but you can use them numbers to kind of, if you understand them numbers, it's going to make everything else a lot easier going forward on your journey. So with that being said, guys, I hope this is enough to get you started running your Facebook ads. There could have been a lot more we can go into. Like I say, this is just basically something to get you started with running Facebook ads as usual. If you enjoyed this, please do give this a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comment below as well. And I will be happy to answer any of your questions. So with that being said, go and create some ads, get them up and running, get some results, and I look forward to hearing from your feedback, guys. Take care.